My name is Carl Duivenvoorden and I live in Upper Kingsclear, New Brunswick. My EV is a 2019 Chevrolet Bolt. You start it up and you hear nothing. And at first you wonder, is this thing on? It is. And then you put it in gear and it rolls away and it's as quiet. I'll never get tired of that. And here's the other thing I won't get tired of. I hope I can say this. Power. EVs have tremendous power. So right from a dead stop, they have instant full power. I would say for anyone who has never taken a drive in an EV, go for a drive sometime. Regenerative braking is wonderful too, right? Sometimes I'm at the top of the hill here in Fredericton and I come down the hill, and if you're in a gas vehicle, well, you'd be riding the brake all the way and all that energy would be going into heating up your brakes and wearing your brake pads. Versus with the regenerative braking, you can actually see the kilometers in your battery go up. It's the equivalent of if you had a gas vehicle that the engine was producing gas and bubbling it back into your gas tank. I mean, it's crazy, right? You get to the bottom of the hill, and there's more in the battery than at the top. EVs tend to do better in city driving, and they're a little bit less fuel efficient on highway driving. In city driving with gas vehicles, it's always stop and go, stop and go. So you're always tramping on the gas. That uses a lot of fuel. With EVs, you have this regenerative braking system so that when you approach a stoplight or a stop sign, and it takes the energy of the vehicle and puts it back in the battery. So it doesn't wear your brakes, and you've got that energy available so that when you start again, well, you're essentially recycling the same energy. So EVs are really, really efficient in city driving. They're not bad on highway driving either. They're still way better than any gas vehicle in highway driving. But relatively, they go a little further on a kilowatt hour in a city situation than they would in a highway situation. It's because of regenerative braking, and also because generally you're driving more slowly, so you've got less wind resistance, which is the biggest load on a vehicle when you're at highway speeds. And it's not so much a factor if you're in city driving. If it's of value, I recently did a bit of a calculation in terms of the operating cost between a Chevrolet Bolt, the vehicle we have, and a Honda Civic. Just did the math based on power rates in New Brunswick and on gas rates at the time, which were $1.80. And the cost of operating the Bolt was 1/5 per kilometer of the cost of operating a Civic. And a Civic's a pretty efficient vehicle. I don't know that I had an instant moment that I said never again. But I know that when we got the Volt, I thought, if this works out as well as I hope it works out, it will be never again. So after a little while with the Volt, and coming to realize, man, this electric drive is sweet and cheap, then it was never again. So we've got the Bolt now, and honestly, I can't envision any future in which I'd go back to a gas vehicle.